Please share is a collective enlightenment for all African children. If you have a dream, leave that on the comment section. If you have a question regarding our spirituality, please leave that on the comment section. There is something within us that can create anything we want. But because we don't have that knowledge, it is difficult for a lot of people to create anything. Please share. Please share. You have the ability to manifest anything you want. Chukwudi, you're welcome back. I had a call. It's terrible the kind of country we live in. When you busy a call, they keep calling. You don't understand. Please share is a collective enlightenment for all African children. You're welcome, Divine Feminine. We all have the ability to manifest, to create. We all have the ability to manifest and create anything. You're welcome, Divine Feminine. Good to have you here. Today we are talking about creation. The ability to manifest things. There is a knowledge we have been deceived about. And if you don't have this knowledge, you will always find it difficult to create, no matter how you try. You are missing a principle. The ability to create is a principle that we must apply. When we begin to apply that principle in our life, then we begin to create. It doesn't matter how gradual it takes, but slow and steady with the flow until you get there. Please share is a collective enlightenment for all African children. Please share. When a knowledge is removed from the people, they lack the knowledge of themselves and they will never be able to create. Why? Because the information they were told about themselves is wrong. So if you don't know yourself and you don't believe in yourself, you can never be able to create anything or manifest. So your ability to manifest depends also on the information you have been given about yourself. It's all you. If you are not manifesting, it's also you. If you start manifesting, it's because there is a principle you have now started to apply in your life. Life is all about natural law. If you go against the natural law, it will also affect your physical manifestation. That is why your body is the temple of God. And that God is what I'm about to talk about today. The God within. If you disrespect the God within, you will never be able to manifest, because that God within is what controls your physical manifestation, just like VR game. Please share. If you have been finding it difficult, no matter how much you kabash No matter how much you call upon the imaginary God, no matter the house of prayer you run to, even those of you requesting prayers here on TikTok, no matter how much they pray for you, if you don't apply this principle, you will remain in the same circle from year to year. No change. Life is all about principle. The natural laws must be applied. And that there is a natural law within a man that if you apply it, you will have everything. Why? Because you've become everything. There is nothing like a nothing state. No. You must become something to have everything. And your ability to do that is what I'm going to teach now, because you are more than you've been told. Your body is the temple of God for a reason. What is the God? And that God, we have been taught so many information. And that information is what is causing us blindness on the optic. So our ability to also create whatever we desire and manifest our thoughts is because of a principle. There is a principle that triggers that ability to create and manifest them, to bring thoughts into reality. Please share. Is a thank you, HROH Prince. You're welcome. You're welcome. Please share. Is a collective enlightenment for all African children. If you have a question, please leave that on the comment section. Now, in our society, we have been taught so much about immorality. I mean, if you look at the porn and all that, everything is being produced into the society for free. So even it's easy to reach immorality contents. Even a lot of people believe that when they are adding immorality to their contents, they can sell. That is the mental they have given everybody. So it is controlled like that to affect the optic. Now, when a man dwells on sexual immorality, you don't apply celibacy and principle, your ability to hold your demons, your animal parts, you create loopholes to your physical manifestation. I'm sorry about that. I stay very close to the road. I'm sorry about the noise. And so your ability to create anything is actually from the inside. So if there is some kind of information given to us that affects the optic, it will also affect the indwelling. So the God self should be protected. That is, when you have sex, you're eating from the bread of life. You're eating from the bread of life because this bread of life is your ability to create your physical manifestation. And everything we have been taught and the knowledge we have been given is that sex is bad, but sex is also good. And we have been told and taught to have sex for pleasure. And when you're always on the animal part of you, which is the Sodom and Gomorrah, you will never be able to create anything. Why? Because you're using the God for what? Wastefully. So the God within you is actually the sperm that you have. That is what gives you the ability to give civilization. Now, when you retain this sperm according to the principles of the universal etymology and natural law, you become what? You become a God. It triggers the inner God frequency, like a solar energy. So if you're using it to give birth within, that is how when you start creating, instead of wasting it. A lot of people live their life wastefully, wasting their God. The knowledge you cry for is this knowledge I'm giving to you now. If you don't know how to retain that God, if you are a woman, whenever you have sexual thoughts or some kind of when you arouse, that waters the part, the juice, that is your God. When you touch the water and look at it, that is the frequency of a God. As a man, when you take your semen, you pick it up and look at it, that is a God you're looking at. That is what gives you the ability to create. So if you look at it, you look at me, I am that thing. So when you go into your thoughts now, you can imagine something that has the ability to become you, and then you return it to become activating your optic. Imagine what you will become. They kept this knowledge for the few and taught them celibacy. In order to do what? In order to have the ability to control the few. So, a lot of people are billionaires. Why? Because of what they have been able to apply within their own life. If there is any person who is telling you that this life is not guided by principle, that person is misleading you, because this life is guided by natural law. That is why we have equity, fairness, and justice. And these laws are what you should guide within yourself. It lives within, which means you must add principle in order to have everything within your mind. So this knowledge is taken from a lot of people, and they replaced it with immorality, a lot of immorality. They groom you to the stage that you cannot do without it. You get so much attached to sexual activities than even realizing that you also is important. What you call self-love is retaining what makes you whole and what makes you a God. Before giving it to somebody, that person must actually be a reflection of what you carry within, and then what receiving that. They say the concept of self-love. So it must come from within you, which means there is a knowledge you need to apply. Even when we are told to meditate. Meditate means to be watchful. What are you watching for? We don't even know. We just meditate to calm the nerves. And again, if you must retain the sperm, which is your semen, for a woman, your juice, if you must retain this thing, that means you must have the ability to count when it is produced and when it is dead and ascends into heaven. That is the Son of Man. They told you it's Jesus Christ, and also they called it the Son of Man. Why? Because it can be charged. That is the Son that dwells within you. That is your semen, your secretion as a human being. This secretion is also what gives you the ability to create things and manifest everything you want. But we have been taught to give it out sexually. Why? When you give it out sexually, you're eating from the bread of life. This knowledge is very, very important. Why? Because when you complain you're not manifesting anything, that is because you're misusing your indwelling. We have been told what is not God. A lot of people look at their God and they don't even know it. When you look at your secretion, that is God. There is no other God apart from that secretion. Your spermatozoa as a man and your juice, which is the egg, as a woman, that is the God. And to enable your neuromelanin, when you look at that, to enable your neuromelanin and activate the 666, which is the highest knowledge, which is the wise witch that comes from within. In order to create this balance, you must allow this sperm get up to the head and stay dead to be elevated into Illuminati. So a lot of us, we all are Illuminati, but you can also attend that purpose because it dwells within you. Illuminati is a light that dwells within you, that emanates from your knowledge that you have acquired in order to be enlightened. So you begin to express your innermost purpose. That is how you create. So if you don't have the knowledge of self, you will always find it very difficult to create anything. Why? Because you are not balanced within yourself. You are not balanced within yourself. So look at a child from childhood. We are already being introduced to pornography. And by the time they grow up, they are so much into pornography. Judipicious, you're welcome. Thank you so much. And then you have been given wrong information about God from the concept of the religion people, and from that, the knowledge is being falsified. So you don't know what is God. So when you see God, you use it anyhow you want. You waste the God. You eat from the bread of life, without even realizing that this is the bread of life. Every day. Now, the one they give you in the church as the body of Christ is what they use to replace something they have taken from you. So they give you bread of life in replacement of the one you have been eating from through sexual intercourse. Thank you, Basiledi. Thank you so much for being here. Please share. It's a collective enlightenment for all African children. Today, the sun rises within my moon sign. The sun rises within my moon sign today. So today is my born day. Thank you, everyone, for being here. So that is why in the Bible, Jesus says everyone is rich. He is the Christ that dwells within everyone, which is your sperm. So when you see your sperm, that is God. If you're a woman, you see your egg or the juice that comes out of you, that is your sperm. There is no different from your egg and the juice. That is why it smells like fish. And when it smells like fish, that means it is foul-like smell. It's foul smell. Thank you so much, Smith. It's foul smell. And when you taste this, it's like salt. It's not different from the sperm. It's the same thing. The same smell, the same thing. That is the God. That is your indwelling. And if you cannot rise it within you, your meditation is a waste. Why? Because when you meditate to calm your nerves, after some days, you return to the vibration you were vibrating before. Now, the wrong information now is you were told to meditate because it calms your nerves, but they didn't tell you to meditate because you need to rise something. You need to wait for the coming of Christ. That is the return. So on every of your birth dates in every month, you are rising something. You are supposed to be meditating because you're rising something. When you rise this thing and elevate yourself, that is when you become powerful and you can heal That is also Jesus healing the blind man. Why? Because the reason of Christ into the optic opens your innermost eye, which is your first eye, for you to see differently. The man wasn't blind, but he was spiritually blind. So the rising of the sperm within self is what opens the spiritual eyes. It's an allegory of the inner indwelling. So if you live in a society where you have been corrupted, when our mind is corrupted about sexual and immorality, that is why it's called moral. Something that has to do with moral is from your innermost essence. It's the same thing as your aura. It comes from the moral entity. So in order to spoil that energy within you, they taught you what? Immorality. So when you're using it for immoral activities, you are affecting your physical manifestation. So you find it difficult to manifest. Why? Because you're eating from the bread of life. So this bread is what brings enlightenment, brings eternal life and longevity. It brings creativity. It turns you into witch. That is what we call wisecraft. You become something you never believed you can ever attain. How do you do it? Returning your secretion. So when you complain, I am not manifesting, I like everything, people disappoint me, nothing is happening in my life. Yes, it's good to be positive, yes, but when you're positive and you're not applying the principle of the universal knowledge and natural law, you will not be able to manifest, even when you're positive. So your positivity doesn't even count when you're not applying the principle. So life is all about principle. If you're living without this principle, you are living just like that. You have no purpose. So you have a purpose when you apply principle. I don't remember my past life. That is because there is something you're not applying. There is something that should be activating your innermost essence. We all are universe. We are all universe. You have your own universe, I have my own universe. So how do I become my own universe? That is because there is a knowledge I need to acquire in order to activate my heaven. So they teach us to dream about heaven while we are already dwelling in Sodom and Gomorrah, which is the hell. That is the animalistic part of us. Good rise, justice, you're welcome. So we are all on the animalistic part of us because of the sexual immorality we are into. That is operating on the animal side, the Anubis. That is what we are always operating on, the animal part of us. I'm so sorry about the noise. Good rise, Mona Lisa. Good rise. You're welcome. So we are always operating on the Anubis. Thank you so much, Black Root Science. You're welcome. Good to have you here. So when we actually operate like that, we are in hell. So in order for us to attain heaven, we need to apply a principle. So when you take out your juice as a woman, that is God. You're welcome, Miss Faith. As a man, you take out your sperm and you look at it. That is God. There is no other God anywhere. That is God. And if you want to become God, you need to apply a principle. Why? Because on every of your birthday, within your moon sign, on every of your birthday, which means the day where they born you, every month, your body produces the Son of Man. It is called the Son of Man because it is your indwelling. There is something within you that is yours. So it is the Son of Man because it's yours. It belongs to you. So when we have been given knowledge that doesn't make us understand what this is. So you've been told that God is in heaven. Yes, God is in heaven because your secretion comes from the down part of the heaven, which is the plexus. So when it's created out of the plexus, you need to allow it to go to the seat of heaven, to be dead, to be crucified. Yes, every month on your birthday, like me, today is my born day. You know, the sun rises within my moon sign today. And so today, that is the day every month, even if it's another month, you know, even if it's another month, once your birthday gets there, when the sun rises there, it means the Son of Man has come back to you, which means your body produces this Son of Man. And what do you do through meditation is to have this knowledge and apply it. How do you apply it? You allow the Son of Man to go to Golgotha and get crucified. Thank you so much, Ajaguna. Thank you so much. So now the expression of this balance, they tell you meditation is to create balance. The balance you need to create, we don't even know what the balance is all about. What is the balance? The balance is allowing the Son of Man going into the seat of heaven to get titrated, which is the tithe you're given in church. The tithe we have been given in church. So even in your religion, that tithe you have been given, they owe you something, because to give tithe means to give something of substance, but to receive little but in a higher form. It is once in a month on your birthday, the day you were born in a month. You're welcome, Tish Jacobs. Once in a month on your birthday produces once in a month. So if you look at the amount, the dates, you see that they added more dates, they added more months. Why? In order for we to miscalculate. So in order to understand it more, if you were born on a month that has 31st, you minus 30 from your original date of birth in order to get the right day it rises within you. So if it's 30th, you remove 2. If it's 29th, you remove 1, because all the moons are 28. So from the day you were born till full moon. So you have to meditate. You meditate, you allow this thing to rise. When you allow it to rise, it creates a vibration that sends healing to all the nerves. So that healing is Jesus feeding them with fish and bread. At first, it is the sperm or the juice that is the fish-like form. So when it gets crucified after 3 days in the tomb, which is the head, titrates into cranium, becomes the bread of life. And when that bread of life touches all the parts of your body, you have healing and everlasting life. Imagine you're doing this all the days of your life. I mean, sex is just for creation. If you dwell in it, you dwell in hell. You will never be able to manifest. So when you say you are not manifesting, that is because you are engaging in sexual activities too much. It can also affect your manifestation when you don't rise the optic. If the moon is 31st, you minus 3. If the moon is 30th, you minus 2. That means you have to record it now. I'm not sure it's being recorded though. Probably, maybe I will upload it on YouTube. I will upload on YouTube. So you just go to my YouTube, Shamanic Vibes. You will see them there. Even the past teaching. So when you cry that I'm not manifesting, I'm not being able to manifest anything, that is because there is a principle you are not applying. I keep saying this. It is you. It is what you do now that affects a change in your life, not imaginary. So when we have been given the wrong knowledge of God, even when you have small things, small little, you call it money, and you thank God for it. When you're supposed to be manifesting more than that, you're not working your purpose and you're making little, and you're appreciating God for that. What about when you're working your purpose? Imagine what you'll be making. That is how people make billions. That is how people become billionaires. It takes time. It takes process. It takes patience, because you need to train yourself and unlearn everything. Why? Because a lot of people are already interwoven so much into sexual activities. So your ability to endure, that is what, when it comes in, the training, the lessons and all that. Sometimes you will fail. Sometimes you will go back to how you were before and engage even more. Because when you're about to heal, it becomes worse. So you will even engage it more before you realize yourself. How many billionaires are into sexual activities? They propagate it, but they are not into it. So if you must be able to create eternal, wise, rich knowledge to come from within, which is the birth of the child that comes from the balance you have created within. The expression of that child is the wise craft, which is what you call witchcraft. So when Africans who have realized themselves expresses this wise craft, they call them voodoo. But voodoo is actually the expression of the innermost self. So how is it evil? You call your ancestors evil, but they learned this principle from our ancestors. How are they evil? I mean, this is a natural law. If you apply it, man, it's going to change your life. If there are brothers and sisters who are buoyant enough, please, we need to start an institution where people can actually come and incorporate this knowledge within themselves. And when this thing is being said, we shouldn't just sit down there. We should start doing something. Because we are so much into prophecy. When I give you prophecy now, all of you will fool here and be shouting. You all will be shouting. Yeah. Please get a nice forest. Let's get a land in the nice forest. Build it. I'm ready to give my life into it. Teach. We shouldn't just come here and be saying it. We should start doing something. You can never manifest if you don't have this knowledge. Forget about all those that have to be spirit. This is the original spirituality. This is what our ancestors did to live long. Then they apply it with what they eat, because whatever you eat, you become. Whatever you eat, you become. Even in the Bible, they have told you everything. You shouldn't give the unnatural things into the natural things. So, because when you give unnatural things into the natural things, you're also destroying the Christ within. which is the Son of Man. It can be charged. It's called the Son of Man because it can be charged. When the sun hits you, it's recharging it. They told you that 666 is extension of you. No, you are the 666. Why? Because you bear something that can be charged, which means your secretion can be charged. So the idea of solar panel came from the knowledge of human understanding. So when we say Osa, Oset, and Heru, we are talking about the indwelling, the balancing of the indwelling, and the expression of that balance is the Heru. So who is Heru? Heru is your sperm. If you're a woman, your secretion, the juice that carries your egg. So the secretion which carries your egg is Heru. So how do you rise Heru? You allow Heru to get to the head. You know, Joseph and Mary is the right and the left brain. The left brain and the right brain is Joseph and Mary. Joseph is the left brain. Mary is the right brain. Where is Bethlehem? Your celloplexus. Where are they waiting for the return of Jesus Christ? Why? Because when Jesus comes up here and gets titrated, he leaves the parents to ascend into heaven. And the return of it is the coming back of the sperm in your moon sign every month. Please share. It's a collective enlightenment. If you have a question, leave that on the comment section. Anyone have a question? I will be leaving now. Anyone have a question? Please, I will be leaving now. So if you apply this principle, you can be able to manifest anything. There is nothing you cannot manifest. So your ability to manifest is also the knowledge you have been given. So what knowledge do you have? Please, if you have a question, quickly leave it on the comment section. I would like to leave now. Tish Jacobs, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Do you know a lot of billionaires are buying the eggs of a womb man, which is your juice, and is worth about $500, just one. And some people have banks of it. Why do you think they're storing it? Why? Because it is rechargeable. That is the Christ. You are the Christ. Yes, it has an impact to you to start changing. Because why? Because you have to work on your purpose in order to have everything, you know. So if you do this, you become everything. You will no longer find it difficult to manifest. So you doing your purpose, you just express yourself and everything comes to you naturally. You don't have to fight for anything to become. You just have to become everything, and then you become. That is why they told us God is separate from you, but why? God dwells within you. So if you have the knowledge of God, what will you be doing? You will be manifesting everything. You wouldn't need anybody. You wouldn't rely on anybody to become. So they stripe us of the knowledge of what God is. So I'm telling you now that God is your secretion. Whether you're a man or a woman, your secretion. That is God. So they taught us sexual immorality to abuse the God within. So when you don't have the knowledge of God, that is why they told you God is in heaven, and then come back and tell you the Son of Man. What is the Son of Man? It is the Son of Man because it's rechargeable. How many years did Jesus live before he died? 33. How many numbers are the vertebrae? Jesus had 12 disciples. How many spinal nerves do you have? We have 12 spinal nerves. And the 12 spinal nerves represent what? The seat of the zodiac. Starting from Iris, which is the head. And Iris starts from where? March. That is the sun. So, if you are even meditating, you are doing it wrongly. Why? Because you should be meditating because there is a knowledge you know, and there is something you are rising within yourself. So on every full moon, you should be crucifying Jesus within yourself. So the meaning of crucifixion doesn't mean to die, like I always tell you guys here. It means to rise in power, to rise in enlightenment. So when you crucify Jesus, it means you have naturally initiated yourself into Illuminati. Illuminati means to illuminate consciousness, to illuminate enlightenment from the darkness within. That is why you need to understand the darkness in order to understand light. It's law of opposites. You know? So everything is within. When a person lacks the knowledge of self, you are already losing yourself because you don't even know who you are. So our knowledge of self was strived because of the fear of who we are. That is what they call genetic mutation. When a person is stripped of their knowledge, they are genetically mutated. Just imagine in my own place, they call Alonsi as a deity. Alonsi is not a deity. Some Igbo language call it Aronsi. Aronsi is not a deity. Why? Because okay, naturally it might be a deity because we are the deity. So a lot of Igbo people don't even know what is aloe. Aloe is the pineal gland. The pineal gland is the aloe. Arrow. Some people call it arrow. Some people call it arrow. Aronsi. Arrow is the pineal gland, which is the seat of heaven. Nsi is the optic, which is the first eye. Anyansi. You know? So a lot of information is being falsified. So we're fighting to elevate our people from religion. And it's not only religion, even our own tradition is also being falsified. Good rise, Elizabeth, you're welcome. So even our own tradition is being falsified. So where do we start from? You give them the true knowledge of self. Because when they start elevating, they begin to touch the inner knowledge within. They start expressing it naturally. So you can never tell a person a lie. Because when you elevate this consciousness, you know the truth and you know the lie. So if you don't have the knowledge of yourself, it affects your manifestation and your creation. You know. So, if you are an Igbo, when I talk about the secretion is udimi, or uri, ure. All those things are the indwelling within, and what enlightens the alonse is your sperm, your secretion. If you're a woman, is your juice. So when they go to the seat of heaven, which is the alu, to enlighten the nsi, that is why you have the agwunsi. Agwo is the seat of Saturn, and the agwunsi is the seat of clairvoyant. You're welcome, Vicky Lawson. You're welcome. So it's all enlightenment within. So when you are complaining, I am not being able to manifest, there is a principle you are not applying. Once you start applying that principle, you begin to manifest anything you need. Please, if you have a question, leave it real quick on the comment section so I can touch it. I am about to leave now. If you have a question, please leave it on the comment section so we can quickly go on it. Anyone have a question? Anyone have a question? Please, if you want to rewatch this program, go to Shamanic Vibes 1111 on YouTube. You will see the video again. Please, I will have to leave now since nobody have a question. I believe we understand everything. Thank you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, you came late. We were talking about manifestation, how to manifest it, how to manifest our thoughts into physical reality. So I was talking about how to apply the principle. Thank you, Yagazi. The natural principle to our life in order to manifest. So without applying this principle, we can always find it difficult. I don't I do consultation, but my consultation is more of divination, because Alpha is question and answer. Alpha can never touch your past life or some other things that is affecting you as karmic. So Alpha can never refer that. So I do divination more. Yeah, that's right. So anyone have a question? Elizabeth, do you have a question? Probably something you don't understand about, probably, so I can just touch on it before I leave. Please, is a collective enlightenment for all African children. If you have a question, leave it on the comment section so I can touch on it. Yagaze, call me, text me on WhatsApp on my number. Okay, yeah. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. Yagaze, follow me and text me directly on WhatsApp through the number I just left for you. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Thanks a lot. So In order for us to manifest, in case for those who have been crying, my career is not going well, nothing is working for me. It's not working for you, firstly, because you're not working your purpose. And in order for you to work your purpose, you need to understand a principle. And when that principle is applied into our life, everything changes. Thank you, Blackroot Science. Thank you so much. Thank you. Everything changes. That is when we begin to manifest. That is when we begin to create. So the ability to create comes from within. That is why it's called witchcraft. And the meaning of witchcraft, like I always tell everyone here, it means wisecraft that comes from within. Yes, you can test me. Oh, I don't speak French, but probably we can use a translator or something. So when you apply this principle, let me go at it, because I see a lot of new people coming in. So let me go at it again. So in order to apply, thank you so much, Thomas. Thank you so much. So in order to apply this principle, we must understand that we have a God within. And in order to understand this God, it is not out of us or somewhere in heaven that is imaginary. This God is what? Your product. Your sperm. If it's a woman, your juice as a woman that carries your egg, that is God. Yes, that is God. So in order to express the birth of the child, you must allow it climb into the head. So when it gets to the head, it has to be crucified. When it's crucified, ascends into heaven, which is the aloe, the pinot. And then it activates the optic, which is the nc. Spreads into the 5,000 nerves. So Jesus feeding the 5,000 people with fish and bread, when he's in its normal state, is still a fish, because it smells like fish. The juice of a woman smells fishy, or egg, foul smell. Even the sperm of a man smells the same, and it tastes like salt. So when it's titrated into the higher being, it becomes the bread of life. And when it feeds the 5,000 nerves, it gives eternal life into it. So you eating from the bread of life, or eating from the fruit of life, is actually dwelling on immorality. So we shouldn't be dwelling on immorality. So when you dwell on immorality, it can also affect your physical manifestation. Why? Because your ability to manifest anything is your ability to climb the Christ into the head. So our manifestation, our secretion, holds it all. So if you're not manifesting, you need to start reducing your sexual activities. Grad Rise and Ever Creativity, good to have you here. You're welcome. So you need to reduce the sexual activities you're engaging yourself into, because it can also affect our creativity, our manifestation. It's not only your thoughts. The balance you will need to create within is rising the sperm and the secretion of a woman. And this thing rises in a particular time within the moon sign. So if you see where the knowledge of self have been taken or stripped off from us, it is because of this knowledge. Because when you know what God is, you will be able to manifest anything you want. Why? Because there is a principle you need to apply to self. So thank you everyone for coming here. I really appreciate you all. If you had a question, you can leave it. I want to leave now. If you have a question, leave it quickly. Like I said, in Igbo language, this is alo. Alo is the pino. Nsi is the optic. That is why it's called Alonsi. Alonsi, the seat of heaven and the optic. Thank you so much, everyone. If we have a question, please, you can just quickly leave it on the comment section so I can touch it before I go. Quickly. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I appreciate. Today is the day the sun rises within my moon sign. So today is my born day. This is my born day. This is the last day of Aquarius. Okay, thank you everyone. See you next time whenever